Wednesday, July 26, 2006. Dear Katie, I just wanted to send you a note before we meet to thank you so much. The way you approach life is so overflowing with spirit and love and passion. If I had half the magical stuff that you have and I used it like you use your spirit, just think of what I could accomplish. You are such an inspiration, Katie, and it isn't because you're sick. It's because you are you.
Tell me what the wish was that you came up with.
I wanted to go meet the Mariners on Safeco Field and just watch them play a game because I've never been to a real game.
Who did you want to do that wish with?
All my friends. Because who better to enjoy it with than your friends? Hi. I'm Katie Morris. I'm the one on the billboard. Nice to meet you too.
In 2006, Catherine Marie Morris, everyone called her Katie, was a 12-year-old from Powell Butte, Oregon, who'd been diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer.
What?
For her wish, Katie asked to reunite her youth baseball team from 2003 at Safeco Field. One teammate came to surprise her.
That wish, it was Katie. It was Katie all over. She would not have been satisfied going to that baseball game had her team not been there.
That's so cool.
I was sitting on my couch one evening in July 10 years ago.
Hey, Cheryl. My mom thinks you're a stud.
And I heard her voice, and I just was drawn more and more into her story. I just wanted her to know that that I thought that she and her family, and Katie especially, were sensational, and that I selfishly wanted to meet them.
Michael, contacted us, and at first I thought he was crazy.
Why'd you think that?
Well, I come home from work one day, and, she's talking on the phone to some guy from Boston that wants to meet us, and I'm like, he's crazy. Hang up on him.
He said, I would like to fly your family, you and Katie and your family, to Boston. And besides being a Mariners girl, maybe she could be a Red Sox girl, too. The first thing she said, so you're going to do all this for us. What are you, a millionaire?
A 42-year-old philanthropist and father of 4, Michael Danziger flew the Morrises first class to Boston and brought Katie and her family to Fenway Park.
That's something else.
Oh, that is awesome.
I had heard a lot about the Red Sox, and I knew that it was a big deal.
I signed twice. I wanted to get one upside down.
She was told when we got to Fenway, they said under no circumstance, just to be clear, no circumstance, for you to run onto that field off this warning track. And she said, message received.
I can't? Why not?
Because Major League Baseball rules.
I kept hearing people say, that's the little girl from ESPN. And when she hit that baseball field, she just started strutting.
Red Sox, let's show them how to play ball.
By now, it was clear, her family says, something had clicked between Michael and Katie.
I started to see that he felt like Katie was maybe a kindred spirit, and I think that Katie definitely saw that as time went on, too. I think that she felt a very strong connection with him.
I think I was feeling maybe the early stage of sort of midlife, what's next, perhaps some depression, and I saw her courage, and it gave me courage.
He asked the Morrises to stay on Martha's Vineyard with his family. They accepted. That week, a chance encounter with a hospital donor moved her to the front of the line at Boston's Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to be considered for an experimental protocol.
To all of a sudden be told that maybe there was something, you know. I was like, if anyone can do it, she can. If anyone could be the first one to survive this, it'll be Katie, because she was such a fighter.
At their goodbye 1 week later, Michael promised to remain in touch, and did.
How did that sustain her as the course of her illness continued?
It gave her things to look forward to, because Michael was her favorite person, and she was going to get to see him again. And she was always busy making plans.
Months passed. As spring 2007 began, Katie's condition took a precipitous decline.
Her chemo and her radiation had quit working, and the MRI, it was just lit up. It had come back just so fierce.
She couldn't really talk. She couldn't really walk. It's hard to look at pictures from that time because I know that's not really her, and I don't want to remember her that way.
In April, Katie returned with her family to Boston, where doctors at Dana-Farber examined her scans.
The doctor told me that it would take a month for her body to be prepped for this protocol. And he said, I'm sorry, but I don't think Katie has long enough. And I looked at him and asked him, you know, he said, it's bad, Mrs. Morris. I think maybe she has 2 weeks.
Michael had one more thing he wanted to do for her. On April 15th, 2007, the gates of an empty Fenway Park swung open for Katie one final time.
I have you. I'm not going to lose you. There you go. There you go.
Wearing a ring around her neck that Michael had given her, Katie Morris was back where she always belonged.
On the field again.
You guys had to run?
You want to go running?
That was the last time she got to run those bases.
Go, go, go. I'm not strong enough.
We flew home, and Katie was determined to walk in our house. She took 1 or 2 steps. Yeah, not good.
She died in my arms. She couldn't talk anymore. But she wouldn't let me leave her side. And I was like, do you want Mama to stay by you? And she shook her head yes. And then but it means I love you.
Katie Morris died on April 25th, 2007. She was 13 years old. When Michael and his family arrived for the funeral, Katie's mother had something for him.
She actually died holding that ring. And I remember after she passed, and when they came to take her, and it was in her little hand. I wanted him to have it back, and I said, it's your turn to hold on to this now.
That kind of completed things. Now, when people say, hey, what's with the ring? I can say, if you really want to tell, I got a story for you. And I do.
You know, this is ESPN. You have a lot of people watching. And
Right now?
Right now. Well, not right now. We're just talking on tape. But, Katie, a lot of kids, you know you're not the only kid going through something like this. And some kids might be watching you right now and saying, I want to be strong and funny and brave, just like Katie.
And funny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. So what would you tell them if you met somebody who was going through the same thing you were going through?
Just that they can do it on the inside, if they really believe.
Did you realize you were this strong?
Not until this. But now I know that I'm this strong. I know I can conquer anything.
In her time among us, what Katie conquered was fear and isolation and despair. Her strength and her belief were innate, drawn from the love and support of her spectacular family, who allowed her days to be spent not retreating from the world, but in it to the fullest, laughing and sharing and inspiring those who knew her and sought to know her. To sit across from her meant feeling her indomitability, her eagerness for new experience. And as she knew, and as you saw, she could also make you smile. To this day, at the Make-A-Wish offices in Portland, there's a photograph of Katie Morris up on the wall. Among the people who work there from time to time is Katie's big sister, Jamie, who's now a volunteer wish granter. In 2014, Jamie Morris became the first person in her family to graduate from college. Today, she says, I try to live my life the way Katie lived hers. I try to be very genuine in everything that I do, and I try to remember to have fun. It's hard, but I'm definitely working on it. Katie was extraordinary. Yet since My Wish began, we've seen that same resilient character, that same capacity for uplift in so many of the young people whose stories we've shared with you. This week on ESPN.com, you can check out all the young people whose wishes we've chronicled since 2006, along with written and visual updates on what they're up to today and the role their wishes played in transforming their lives.
His mind